So the ground here, the ball can pull around a bit, and I don't know if he thought it was going to be easier than it ended up being, but well, obviously he did.
He's been rather unceremoniously whipped out of his fielding position, replaced by Nick Curtin, who's got fluency and kind of blood and movement back into that knee. And he's the fastest fielder in the outfield. Johnson, who's a very good slip catcher, is probably the slowest. Usually reads the game pretty well. I think the ground's a bit firm. He was just worried about putting in the dive and maybe injuring himself before he bats later. You kind of think about how well UAE fielded the other day, and that's been a big shift. You were telling me a bit about the kind of strategic change that they've been making off the field over the last couple of months.
Well, I believe it was after the Cricket World Cup League 2 round in Nepal.
Inspirational place.
Inspirational for UAE because, well, we know, Lenny, we always talk about it, don't we? Just how quick those Nepal players are and how fast they are, running between the wickets and like lightning across the field. It's nicely played for another single. They're starting to get a motor on. And so, yeah, my understanding is that after that particular round, UAE came away from that going, right, we've got to be much fitter. We've got to be better fielders. So they had an intensive training camp just focused on fielding, all because of the high bar that was set by the Nepal side.
Look, the reality is they needed that, UAE. Across the history of the course of the two editions of Cricket World Cup League 2, can maybe argue alongside Oman at times, they've been the weakest fielding side. So great to see them turn around. I thought they were exceptional the other day. Stanley Chiorza, the assistant coach, he's been a big part of that, the Zimbabwean. He was actually saying that, it was as good as they can field, so I'm excited to see where they could go. His partnership continues to grow in stature, worth 74 off 87 balls. And Chopra much slower than Bhatia, but that's actually kind of collectively between them, not a bad effort. And Canada, I think they're going to have to start to change things here. Can't see Nicholas Curtin continuing, or maybe he will. He will continue.
Yeah, he will continue. I just think Canada have this problem in working out their fifth bowler and the options that they have for their fifth bowler. It's been a weakness.
Now, just for those watching at home, if at some point you see Harsh Thacker in the outfield, it's not Harsh Thacker. I'm pretty sure, anyway, that Kalim San has borrowed the jumper of his teammate to try and absolutely sell us down the river. So I'm glad I've spotted that.
I'm so glad you did.
Luckily, I know the two lads very well, so there he is there. Look, right on cue. Kalim, what are you doing? Where's your jumper? Don't leave it in the hotel room, which I know, Kalim, you'll have left it in the hotel room. You'll have forgotten. And he wants the sleeveless option, so he's got Harsh Thacker's jumper on because Harsh is sick today. Promise you that's what's happened.
That's just not on, Lenny. That's not on. You can't do that.
The interesting one will be, as this is pulled away to the protection in the deep, as to whether or not the umpires have noticed it.
Because it could cause the scorers some problems as well.
It could, yeah, and it's an officiating team. You got to remember that. Match ref, reserve umpires, scorers. Our scorers are the biggest unsung heroes in the game. Umpires we give attention to. Scorers we often fail to mention, and I think the team here has all travelled up from Edinburgh today to do the book, so our thanks to all of them. You can hear me pleading for a lift down later, can't you?
Yes, I know your game, Andrew Leonard. You're so transparent.
You can always see through me. swept away behind square, just one bounce and good fielding. That was a good read from Spores, who understood that he wasn't going to be able to get underneath it to pull off a catch, so just allows it to bounce. 150 comes up. I've really enjoyed watching this partnership, but in particular the skipper. Harpreet Bhatia, 63 off 63 now, Mel.
It's just been the classic anchor role. He's taken very few risks, and his timing has been so good. His shot selection in just deciding what to put away and what to keep has been fantastic. 150 for 3 UAE after 32.
What's the target here from this position now for UAE? You mentioned that 276 that would double up the score from 30, but are they thinking even north of that potentially?
Well, 32 overs isn't that much past 30, and they're on 150. I do think they'll be targeting that 300. And I think they could get very close to it, if not quite there. Oh, I'm sorry, Lenny, I'm distracted because we've just got a bit of ACDC on the PA, and I'm Australian. It does things to my insides.
Steady, Mel. Yeah, the only thing that I would say against that is there's still 5 overs of Sana left. And Sana's death skill is remarkable. I suspect that Bhatia might have a crack here at Anj Patel, who's been recalled to the attack. Did pick up one of the 3 wickets to fall, but was a bit inconsistent. I also don't think that's the right option against Anj Patel coming down the track. You just got to wait for the bad one, whether it's very full or very short. Stay in your crease if you're Bhatia. You'll be able to attack him still.
He does stay in his crease, and he does attack, and he does clear the rope. Wow, Andrew Leonard is the prophet. He knew he was going to go after him.
Well, you could just see it coming, couldn't you? And I think he's almost like you can just see what a great cricket brain Bhatia has, because the previous delivery he's charged down. And he's gone, okay, actually, that's not the right option, is it? But I might get one full now because I've charged down. So Patel tries to toss it up. Bhatia holds his shape, holds his position. You're always going to get good reward hitting that straight. Flies all the way for 6. This has been a fine hand he's playing. And then gets the drag down, helped round the corner. Runs starting to flow now for the UAE. It'll be a chase in vain, back-to-back boundaries. Patel, for a bowler as talented as he is, has been well off the mark so far, and there's concerns now for Canada.
Yeah, I think this is quite dangerous for Canada because even from his first spell, he really struggled with his length. And now coming back into the attack just at the time when there are 2 set batters there as well. He was bowling to new batters early on. But now they're well and truly set. Real danger period.
Chopra wants a single, but I think Bhatia, for 2 reasons. One, he's kind of trapped on the back foot. 2, he quite fancies a bit of Anj Patel here. Yeah. It's happy just to keep it to a dot. Better, much better from Patel, but well dealt with by Bhatia, showing he's just got this immaculate touch. You see anything of what I say in the way in which there's a shade of Chanderpaul, not in his setup or his stance, but just the deftness of touch like Shivnarine Chanderpaul, the guy in his ICC Hall of Fame legend.
It's almost like just his ability to turn his wrists to direct the ball in the perfect area. Yeah, I do see what you mean. It is the touch player, isn't it? Like that.
And a reminder, the art of batting. So we get to the end of the 33rd, 163 for 3. The art of batting. This is going to sound stupidly simple. Simply hitting the ball where there are no fielders. But, actually doing that and finding those gaps is significantly more difficult in practice than in theory. It will get us to the second drinks break. That has been a fine session for the UAE. This new look set up for them. Tell you something, Mel, it's impressing me, and I think they're right on top here. Canada have work to do, but they'll get Monty Desai out to them to see if they can plot a path. Last third of this innings, it's 163 for 3. So welcome back to beautiful Fort Hill with the sunshine out. It doesn't feel like Scotland right now. It did this morning where it was freezing cold. But we're all set for the remaining 17 overs of this contest. It's been a really engaging one. UAE have dominated that second session though. Canada did find some early inroads. Kalim Sana was the star of the show. 5 overs, 2 for 7. And now he's been recalled back into the attack. And these 5 overs, he'll definitely bowl his full allocation of 10, you'd imagine. Of the remaining 17, it could be critical in terms of Canada's hopes of keeping UAE down to something less than what, 275, 280 that they're on track for at the moment. But UAE might want even more than that. They might be thinking about 300 plus, particularly if Bhatia can bat through. He's into the 70s for the second time in international cricket, his 3rd career ODI 50. And for the remainder of the day, not just this innings, you'll have the company of me, Andrew Leonard, alongside Mel Farrell, back in action for ICC Men's Cricket World Cup League 2. Mel, I can't remember many games in this league that haven't engaged me, and this one is proving the exact same again. For the first time, really, in a long time, UAE looking good.
They are looking good, and particularly Bhatia, who has been so calm, measured, deft.
Protection out there. Curtin feels like was fielded in every position on the field today. Does well to keep it to just a single. He'd usually be in more of a hot zone, but he's had a bit of treatment on that bang he got in his right knee at backward point.
But I do feel you're right, completely right, Lenny, is that this is crunch time, and whether or not they are able to push to 300 may well depend on what happens here in these few overs, just because of the threat of Sana. Interestingly, he was quite expensive when he bowled against Scotland in the opening stanza of the game when he opened the bowling, but when he came back was when you really saw his value. Shazad, on the other hand, he was brilliant up top, but then ended up being quite expensive at the death.
Sana's going to come around the wicket, one of his trademarks at the death. Yeah, and I think the key thing for the UAE is not to get greedy against Sana. You know, if you could almost consider the position of, okay, you want to get to 300, I get that, but 275 is still going to be a good score. So he had 5 overs, 2 for 7. If he finishes up going at 5 and over from here and finishes up with even getting one more wicket, 3 for 30, not the end of the world, because you'll have another 12 overs to really go after. It's about recognising who the weak links are in the Canadian attack, and Kalim Sana is the opposite. He's the leader of the attack, and you don't want to lose a plethora of wickets to him. So good move, probably driven by Monty Desai to get Sana back into the attack after the drinks break, because he feels as though the game's getting away from him. But Bhatia just continues to go about his business. What the UAE need is Chopra to increase his strike rate.
Yes.